Well, I'm talking about
Jesus is King and He's Master of
all things. But you gotta know,
Hey everybody, today is Monday and it is 7 p.m. And you know what happens on Monday at 7 p.m. Opinions, that's what happens. Opinions. Right here on Twitter and YouTube at 7 p.m. Opinions Live. My name is Katie Lowe, and I'd like to welcome you to Rhythm Flow Radio Livestream right here on Opinions and YouTube. You know, opinions are like, you know what they say, everybody's got one. And you're right to your opinion. Everybody is entitled to have their own opinions about whatever it is, because this is America, and you have the right to speak out on about whatever you want to speak out about. You know, we have a great show lined up for you today because, you know, we're going to talk about America's education system. I mean, what do you think about America's education system? Do you think that America's education system, do you think that our kids are being educated properly? Do you think that we have a system that works for our children? Okay? I mean, these are our children. You know what? Our children will be the leaders of tomorrow. Just think about that. And if our children are not educated properly, they can't lead. You know, they say that leaders are born, but I think leaders are made. I think we create leaders. I think that we create leaders in the way we educate. You know that? I think that we create leaders how we educate. And if we don't educate properly, we can't create the people that we need to lead this world into the next century. So it's so important that we educate. I mean, that's just my opinion. You know, the next person, they may care less. But I want to tell you, hey, I'm here in Chicago, you know, and this is some strange weather. I don't know whether to put winter clothes on, summer clothes, fall clothes, spring clothes. I don't know whether to turn the gas off. You know, I don't know what to do. One day I'm hot, one day I'm cold. I mean, I know I'm an old woman, but I'm not going through the change like that. That's weather. So, Father Times, if you are listening to me, would you please leave Mother Nature alone and allow her to get herself together? That's just my opinion. But, you know, we have such a good show lined up for you today that I want to bring in. I want to bring in. Listen, I would say she's an opinionated woman. I would say she's an authority. I would say she have the credentials to back up whatever she's got to say about the structure of America's education system. Okay. I mean, when you've done these things and you're educated and you're smart and you're talented and you've written books and you're a public speaker and you've been in the education system, especially in Chicago, okay, you got to know something. So, without further ado, let me invite the guest to the screen. And I'm listening because this lady knows more about herself than I do. I'm going to invite her into the screen and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself because she knows more about herself than I do. So if you will hold on. Hello, Dr. Valerie N. Partee. How are you this evening?
Hello there. I
Okay,
am
can you
so
turn
glad
your
to be
mic
here.
up just
Thank you for
just a little
inviting
bit? So
me.
we want to make sure that everyone can hear you. Let me make sure that I have you turned up.
Okay.
Okay, we want to make sure that
Okay.
everyone can hear you while you're talking.
Oh,
Okay, I
yes,
think.
yes, yes.
Okay, okay, I think they can
I
hear
hope
you.
all is doing well.
Okay, I want you to introduce yourself to everyone.
Is that
Tell them
better?
that's much better. That's much better. I want you to introduce yourself to everyone, and I want you to tell them who you are and tell them a little bit about yourself. Tell them where you were born and everything, so they'll know who you are.
Okay. I'll be happy to. Blessing God has given us today. I want everybody to get the lesson,
All
whether
right.
it's from me or another professional, but get the lesson. Um, I was born Valerie Nanette Partee in Chicago, Illinois. I received my PhD from Sarasota, Florida, and from DePaul University in communications and education. I've taught of grades from kindergarten to eighth grade and a little high school English. And presently, I'm a counselor and a speaker. And I'm enjoying every moment of it, helping God's people. Um, I think someone asked me recently what caused me to write a book, How to Set Your Child Up for Greatness. And let me
Okay.
tell you,
Wait.
I gave up
Before you
two.
go in before you go into talking about your book, you said that you were born here in
Okay.
Chicago. You say you were born here in Chicago.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and were you a product of Chicago public school system?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. All my life.
Okay, so did you go to the inner schools? Did you go to private schools? Yeah, I want to make sure did you go to the public school system, as in Chicago public
Chicago
schools? As
Public School.
okay, all right. Did you graduate out of the Chicago public school system?
Yes,
Okay.
I
Uh,
did.
okay. I want to establish that because I want to establish you with people because you're going to talk about the America's the structure of the American educational system. So I want to establish that ground that you are a product of the Chicago public school system from right here in Chicago, Illinois. You went to Chicago public school, you
Yes.
graduated out of that school, and later went on to college. Okay. Now, after you went to college,
Yes.
did you come back and teach in the Chicago public school system after graduating from
I
college?
did.
Did you?
I taught
You
at
did.
Catholic school.
Hmm. And
Yes.
how long did you
I
teach
went
in the
to
Chicago public? How long did you teach in the Chicago
18
public?
years, 2 years,
Eight, 18 years in the Chicago
eight,
public school.
18 years.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
and two
you are
years with the Chicago Archdiocese.
okay. So you are very, very familiar with that school system. Okay. So
Oh, yes, absolutely.
okay. Now can I ask you this? I know that you are the author of this book that I have up here in the corner. It's to my right, it may be to the left. the listening audience, and uh, the book that you have written. Um, we want to acknowledge the book. I was trying to see if I had another copy down here in the screen, but
Thank you.
the book the book that you have written, you can give them the name. Hold that book up so we can give them the name of the book. If you could hold it up, and then I have a series of questions that I'm going to ask you. But this book has a specific title: How to Set Your Child Up for
Here
Greatness.
it is.
Okay,
Great.
there it is. Okay, now first let's tell them where they can purchase this book. Dr. Partee, can you tell them where they can purchase this book? I hope our sound hadn't gone. Hello, can you hear me?
Online. I understand it should be in the stores now at Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, at Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Okay. Now, can Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, this book can be purchased, and the book is How to Set Your Child Up for Greatness. I want to ask you this. When I see the term PLC, what is PLC in the education system? I don't understand that. What does that term mean?
Oh,
PLC.
when I finally gonna say, you're gonna really say, wow. PLC stands for Professional Learning Community. And it's kind of archaic because it's what I used when I was teaching. And what a group of educators, like the computer teacher, the math teacher, English teacher, they all get together in their own department and they decide to teach the same thing at the same time. But Massachusetts is the one who renamed PLC, Professional Learning Community. This archaic message, archaic. We've been using it all along. And it's supposed to improve that. And some people are still using it, they just the terminology. So it's good if they keep up with it. In other words, each grade should be learning the same principle at this time. So if they're teaching everybody at the same time, or if they're reading essays, everybody is the right department. So that's what PLC stands
is
for.
Professional Learning what? PLC is Professional Learning what?
In the school building.
So you're saying that everybody is learning the same thing?
Learning community. Their grade level, on their grade level, yes, ma'am.
Okay, everybody is learning on their grade level at the same time. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, but what about the children that don't learn on the same level? They are the same age, but they don't learn on the same level. Say that I'm 6 years old and little Johnny is 6 years old, but little Johnny doesn't learn at the same level that I do. So how does little little Johnny catch up to my capacity or the rest of the kids in the classroom?
Well, the idea, Sister Katie, is that each grade is learning the same thing at the same time. So if they are being taught English, everybody is learning the 8 styles of writing or learning nouns all at the same time or learning pronouns. Hopefully they learn it, but everybody's on the same curriculum, the school, whether it's first grade or 8th grade. So they want everybody doing the same thing, but on a grade level, some kids cannot be doing literature while brown children are doing pronouns, let's say. You follow me?
I follow you. Yes, I do.
Okay.
I follow you very well.
I must say, though, we living on a percentile. Florida is the worst school system. We're not doing so badly, even though people make it appear that way. But we're like 53%, while Florida is really low in marks. So I was proud to find that out.
You said the Florida schools are doing worse than it. Okay, say that if you look at
when they're tested.
Oh, okay, when they're tested. Okay. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up something here that I guess has gotten. Okay, so you say Florida is doing, they are doing the worst according to, now is that a standardized test?
Excuse me?
Is that a standardized test that their scores are based on?
Yes.
Oh.
Standardized. The school district, yes. The standardized test, yes.
I have something that I'm trying to open. I don't know why I can't open it. But hopefully it'll let me open it shortly. Maybe I can open it from my phone. Okay. Back to what I was saying. Hold on, let me see if it's in here what I'm trying to find. I had some questions here that I had picked out, and I don't know why this screen got frozen, but it did. I mean, we're here, and I'm in here, and I can't move anything right now. The screen, everything is fine, but it just won't allow me. I'm sorry. For some reason, it's not allowing me to move this screen at all. So I do apologize for that. But I probably can go somewhere else and get what
you're fine. Things happen.
But I guess I was kind of trying to understand when you said that PLC was like I guess some type of program that they have, like all kids are supposedly, I guess if they're in the first grade, there's certain things that they're supposed to learn within that class module or that they have set up that they should know how to do. I guess they should know like their basic colors or certain numbers or certain alphabets, and all schools should within that grade should know these certain things. But I was just worried about those kids that couldn't, like they said, some kids can't. Uh, they can't. Their drum. They don't have the same drum beat. Some learn slower than others.
Well, it's more or less, that's where the educator come in and have to use a little bit more patience. But the idea, if you're going to, I'm trying the name of a school here in Chicago, you're going to just one school, all the first graders are doing the same thing. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing the same thing. Everybody is doing the thing at the same time. The students are doing the same thing at the same time. That's all that is. And
But
Massachusetts is the
what
only one
happens
that's
when they're
using the
not
program.
doing? But what happens when they're not doing? What happens when you have, just hypothetically, the age that we're in now is a total digital age. Okay, and it's an influential age. The kids that are going to school now, whether they're in kindergarten or whether they're in the 12th grade, everything is digital. Even kids in preschool now, they have iPads. Okay, and they know how to work them. Okay, in colleges, in high schools now, especially in your, well, I'm not afraid to say it, but basically in your predominantly white schools or better schools, everybody has a computer. Okay, so there are computer labs. I mean, everything is so computerized,
It's
and
the
these.
computer has nothing to do with them being on the same program.
But what I'm
That's
saying is,
true.
I'm saying that
Have
these
computers,
kids,
whereas we were coming up, we just used the paper and pencil. But that's
right?
not it.
But aren't they learning at a different level now than when we were learning, and they were still using the same basic model?
Because I'm not hearing you say it.
I beg your pardon?
They probably are. Everybody don't learn at the same level,
I'm
but they're being
saying
taught
though,
the same thing.
okay, okay, I got you. I got you. They may not be and learn at the same level, but they're all being taught the same thing. Okay. All right. I'll leave that alone. I got you. I do understand. So I can leave that alone because I understand what you're saying. Okay, let me go back and see if I can pull this up. Because this, I have this, what I had to, let me see if I can pull it up. What I had to ask you, I have it on a screen in here, and it is not allowing me to pull it up at all. I hate this. Hmm. Okay, can we, while I'm looking for this, can we talk about your book?
Well, okay. What that you want to know about? Because basically,
Okay, I would like.
I continue where I left off from when I retired. I was
Okay,
actually,
I would. You could talk about what inspired you to write the book.
that's what I'm saying now. There were some things that you cannot tell one classroom because now you're not teaching, or you discover other things later on, so you put it in a book.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't actually satisfied when I left the school system, and I left it for personal reasons. So I had to continue through my book. So that's why I wrote it.
So, I mean, you wrote it. I mean, did you have any intentions to take the things from that book and implement them into the school system?
Did I have what?
Okay, after you wrote the book, you say you when you left the school system, evidently you were not happy with some of the things there. So, was there a purpose for you to take some of the things that you put in the book to try to implement them into the school system? Some of the things that you had written in the book, were you
I'm
going
not
to try to implement them into the school system? Man, this thing is going up and wrong.
not necessarily because the book is pointing toward parents.
Okay.
It's pointing toward parents. The average child, or you can read my book unless she just wanted to, but the book is geared toward parents.
Okay. I am truly trying to get. I am not. I can't get in here for some reason. It's not allowing me to.
Oh, okay. Well, would you
This
like
is
for me just to talk?
yeah. Why don't you? Maybe I can get. I'm gonna keep trying. I just don't want to mess the screen up. I have them right back here, but it's not allowing me to. It's not. I mean, it's not allowing me to move anything. I'm I can't even. I'm just scared to move anything because I don't want to lose the program off the screen. So if you can just talk about the
Yeah.
American school system and how it relates today to the very digital age and the influential age, because I just feel like it has a great influence upon our children today. Uh, and that's why we hear so many things about the children that are going to school and some of the things that are happening in school.
I don't.
Uh,
We're in this age, so they're letting children do their home classwork with the children rarely win. They don't even write to the extent they stopped teaching nurses years ago. So I don't know how they're going to sign their name. Injustice just to totally do computers, but I think it's just it's an injustice for them not to be able to do something. When you go and buy you a sandwich somewhere, if it's
mhm,
$7.11 and you give them 10, the machine them how much they supposed to give back. They don't count on their own to figure out how much I'm supposed to give this customer back,
mhm.
like we once did when we worked in stores and cleaners. So it's they're not using their brains, their thought process. Uh, and so a lot of times when they have to write a book report, think about it like that.
Mhm.
They got an app for that. It's
Mhm.
called App. And the app will write your essay for you, your book report. So I mean, it's just like I said, it's handicapping the children on that thought process.
Okay,
Uh,
let me ask you this: where does Illinois rank
Actually, it's a little less work for parents to have to help.
in the whole system, the in the whole system, school system? Where does Illinois schools rank in the public in the school system? In the American school system, where does the state of Illinois rank?
It's
Where do
middle
we rank?
ways. It's middle ways, as I said, all together, it's middle ways. They're like 40 over us and 40 below us. We're like middle ways, like 52%.
Mm.
And this is in benchmarks, just a test. I don't know, they're not measuring this by people's classroom activity. They're measuring this by standardized tests.
Do you think that classroom size has do you think that the classroom size has a lot to do with educating the children?
Yes, actually, today it's not
Mm-hmm.
such a big deal because all I have to do as an educator is stand in front of the class and tell them to look this particular thing up on the computer. And I guess the computer is programmed to do, if they're in a math class, to do the algebra, so it'll take them to the algebra lesson. The computers that are bought are programmed just like your book would be. You got your book with your different subjects in it.
Mm-hmm.
But before all the computers, teachers actually stood in front of the classroom and looked at you. Today, they're not doing that much instructing. Unless they get creative and will be proactive and they do it. So it kind of just makes the educator a little laid back to me, in my opinion.
Well, does that make the educator? I play the devil's advocate. Does that make the educator lazy?
I would think so. Oh, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so a lazy educator could be like destructive to a child's education.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good looking out. That's true.
Huh? I mean,
I said, that's good looking out. That's true.
some people might
Oh,
not like
yeah.
to hear me say that, but these are going to be our leaders of tomorrow. So we need to give them all the
Exactly.
ammunition to work with. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Like most people, and you probably thought of it, read about it. Years ago, they were talking about having school all year round. They always bring that subject up like China does. And that's why they say China's children are far ahead of us. In my opinion, if you're going to have school all year round in America, you got to start with them at kindergarten, because you cannot ask a fifth grader to start going to school all year round when they used to being off, or eighth grader, because now you got to go to school around, and all this time I had my summers off.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have to start that with young babies, out of kindergarten, and they won't know the difference because they think that's protocol, par for the course. But I'm not against it. I think it's
You're
a
not
great
against.
idea.
So you saying that mind has to be conditioned early, huh? You
Oh,
can't start.
definitely.
Okay.
Can you, yeah. Yeah, can you imagine telling a 14 or a 15-year-old you're going to start going to school all year round? They already don't want to go to summer school if they're lacking in their subjects, or they have to graduate by going to summer school. They're whining about it. So if there was a must go to school all year round, that would be an issue with them. Parents would have to fight all the time because they're being off for the summers. have to start at some
But you know,
point as a 5-year.
okay, but you know, there are a lot of parents that are on the bandwagon and they want the kids to go to school all year round.
I know, but they're gonna have a problem unless they got. Listen, if we have that type of control of children and not worrying about whining, okay, those children will be in school. Parents can say you're going. You wouldn't have any children in the school if they were going all at junior high, which is
Mm-hmm.
7th and 8th grade. In some places, 6th, 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Another prayer in the school. Well, in my opinion, they don't have to
Mm-hmm.
pray. I mean, I believe in prayer. Believe you and me 100%. But how
Mm-hmm.
about giving them 10 minutes, just like you would give them for recess? Okay, if you want to go over here, meditate, do it by yourself. Because the teachers are not teaching them how. Dad already taught them at home, but now they're utilizing it in the classroom. It would be less fighting, less shooting, less knifing one another, more being agreeable.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you don't have to call it prayer per se, but let's call it a period of meditation, you know, and and,
Mm-hmm.
and and just put a different twist on it because it's too many fights, it's too many people getting into it with an adult who is supposed to be over them. And like I said, I'm not against it, but they just somehow want to be against that word prayer. So if we have meditation time for 15 minutes in the properly praying, I'll just
Mm-hmm.
meditate or sit in the lotus position and just
So you think that they should put the prayer back into the school?
week.
Hello, Dr. Valerie?
What did you just say?
I say, so
What did you
are you agreeing with me that they should put the prayer back into the school?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay. All right. Just making sure.
I think they should put prayer back in the school and yeah, yeah. The not teaching them prayer, teaching prayer or having Bible time would be the Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
They actually go to mass in the middle of the day on Wednesday or whatever day principal dean. But the public school does nothing. And if they would do that, it would be a lot more control and better people communing together and getting along. It won't. I had no fights in Catholic school when I was in Catholic school.
You know
And
that
well, for one thing, it's a
when you
pain that
say
they're not
that when
standing
you
for
say
their
that
money.
when you say that
You
you make
better
me
act
think.
like you got some sense.
When you say that, you make me think about how when I was in school, when we got there in the morning, we all prayed, and then we all put our hands over our heart and said the, pledge allegiance to the flag. And then there was some atheist lady who came home and challenged the Supreme Court and prayer was taken out of the school, but it was never taken
Yeah,
out of the Catholic school,
yeah,
was it? I remember that. I remember that.
never.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that very well,
it
but
was never taken out of Catholic school.
it was never taken out of the Catholic school. But they always
Oh,
prayed. Okay, this is a question I want to ask you. What
oh,
is the
praise. Oh, yeah.
okay, what is the pancreas? What is the pancreas to really improve a child's excelling? What is
Oh,
that?
the panacea.
Oh, the panacea. Okay, I see. Let me put my glasses on. I was trying to sit up here and see this. Yeah. What is the panacea
That's,
to really improving a
see,
child's excelling?
you know, I think it is, Miss Katie. I think that the parents' total involvement. Even a child that has difficult time learning, you were alluding to late earlier. If mom and dad is there to assist with school, it has been proven that many times they'll do much better than struggle because mom has helped them with their homework or their classwork at night. So they may not be a B, would be a C student. That is the key. I've noticed in my teaching when parents were proactive in a child's life, that child did much better, even if they were labeled LD, learning disability.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes a difference when mom and dad in their life and helping them with their work. Make sure they do it. Make sure they eat, bathe, and go to bed at a decent hour instead of sitting up using that computer what we were talking about a few minutes ago. You know, they some order here. Oh yeah.
Children need attention, right? From their parents. They need attention.
I don't know. Yeah. Love covers a multitude of things.
Mhm.
Not the love that they have been seeing in these last 10, 15, 20 years. Just pure love from family and parents.
Yeah, you know, parents have to learn that a pair
Yeah.
of gym shoes,
It's a
a pair of gym shoes, that's not love. A shopping trip,
yes.
that's not love. Children, they need that tangible
Right.
love.
I have
Okay.
a I have exactly. My first chapter in the book is called They Are Watching You.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know, and I believe you, that's how these little kind of twerk, and you see it all the time on social media. They're watching old brothers and sisters and parents do certain things at that age. Show you they can learn by opening that book. You even see babies 2 years old reciting the Lord's Prayer because they're being taught. They can learn. So, it's imperative. it's imperative to be proactive in your child's life. It's the very first chapter in the book, which yours is on the way.
Oh, okay.
They are watching.
Well, we have a series.
Mm-hmm.
We have a series of this that we do. Tonight is just the first one, and we're gonna come back next Monday, and we will still be talking about this subject because we're gonna go through a series of steps. You know, we only have an hour to talk about this, and you wouldn't believe that we've already been on here 47 minutes. Okay, because it is such an open topic, and then we live right now,
I know.
right, huh? Right now, that you know, we right
Oh no,
now
I didn't
all
say that.
over,
Mhm.
right now all over the world, we are experiencing a lot of chaos and a lot of different things that are going on with our young people, and we try to tap into the root of that problem. And so many people, they
Mhm.
lay problems on that they lay the problems onto the educators and the politicians and programs and so many other things. But programs, we can lay that on that, but we also
Mhm.
have to look inside that household, because it all starts in the home. Children, they learn and adapt from what they see at home first. That's their first learning experience. When they come into the world, it's what they see at home. That is the first learning
Mhm.
experience that they have. So when children come out into the
Mhm.
world when they're small and they start communicating, even in preschool, you know, when they're at home and they're doing things and mama raise that hand and start, you know, spanking them. Do you know that they'll go to preschool and see a child
Mhm.
doing so well, and they will do that same thing? So, you know, those are things that we have to take into mind, how we
Mhm.
raise these children and do things in the home, because when they go out in the street, that little mind, that little computer,
Correct.
you know
Right.
what they say, it comes up at the hard drive. And they start acting out. So I just wanted to
Yeah, they represent you and they tell them home.
I wanted to throw that out there. Because we have so much that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this last question because it's almost time for us to go. Um, I want you to spend these last few minutes talking about your book, and then when we come back on next
Oh yeah,
Monday,
we can revisit it next week. But you know what
yeah,
I do?
we'll take up where we left off next Monday. But right now,
I was just thinking about.
I do want you to talk about your book. I want you to tell them if you have articles out there or anything that they could read, where they can find you, and where they can read any information that you have pertaining to children and education that you would like to share.
Oh, I would think on my way, and that is in the book. Mostly everything is in the book.
Okay.
The Temple of Equity.com. Uh, but I was thinking about a book where it says it talks about your genes are not your own, or your genes is not necessarily theirs. Theirs, one of the children. And one excels, the other one is embarrassing. Just say it like that. From the same mother and father. So I call that one, your genes are not necessarily theirs, because the woman got married, had children, he's a VP of a company, and the other one is a total opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see it when you it's on the way. And that's basically the title of it. Genes are not necessarily there. Your genes are not necessarily theirs. There's a lot of little interesting chapters. None of them are really long. It's short and sweet, easy to read and clear. That one I is very interesting. Because the one who doesn't do so well, he didn't understand why his brother is so much what he called better than he, but he chose to go, let's say, the road not taken by Robert Frost. You know. So I love that poem too. Everybody should read that poem who has not. That was one of the poems I would read to one eighth graders every year, and we talked about the importance of which road you was take in life. Because one was more worn, which means they did what they were supposed to do. They were always busy and working. The other road, less traveled by. And that's how it is, and it has made a difference in the person's life. That is one of my favorite poems. But yeah, we could talk about the rest later, because it might take the hour. Yeah. And by that time, hopefully the book will be there. Because I'm an interesting woman. You dig deep.
Well, like I say, these children, I think about the song, these children are our future. I think about growing up, you hear these words. Our mind is a terrible thing to waste. You know how they put these. It takes a village to raise a child. You hear these things, and now that I'm a senior, so all of these things that I've heard, they carry weight. They mean something now. And now I live and I see things that I didn't see when I was growing up. I see something totally different. I see very disrespectful children. Now, I'm not saying the kids didn't disrespect their parents back then, but then see, you might lose something. Okay? Because parents didn't play back then. Okay?
Exactly.
Today, these kids tell me I called a popo. I wish you would have called a popo back then. When they say it took a village to raise a child back then, the village raised you. The whole village. If you did something 2 blocks away from home, you got punished 2 blocks away from home. And by the time you got home, the next block punished you. And back when you got home, you was going to get punished again. That was a road you never traveled again. But these kids, they do it every night.
And be shamefaced if you saw them do something. Yeah, they'd be shamefaced. Oh, Miss Katie saw a big, not today.
They'll come at you.
And they can tell me what my mama. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's a different story.
That comes from parents. Like one lady said, I tried Yeah, these parents know these kids are out here doing what they're doing, but they let them get out of hand and they're not listening to them now. It's like it's too late. A lot of them know what children are out here doing, robbing and carjacking. I've heard it too many times. One lady said, I told him about that, not let him. But he's not listening to it because when he was 2 years old, what he did was cute. Now he's 15, 16, maybe even younger, and he's listening to her. So,
We're going to
it's a
talk
lack
about
of the
how.
fatherhood there too. But listen, I raised my son, and my son is, yeah, women can raise their sons. We'll talk about that. Yeah, that's on another note.
Okay, so
Yes.
next week we're going to talk about how this structure affects the educational system. Okay, and we'll listen. My
Oh,
name is Katie
yes.
Lowe.
Yes.
My name is Katie Lowe, and this is
And
Rhythm
I'm
Flow
Dr.
Radio,
Valerie.
and this is Dr. Valerie N. Partee, right here on
Beautiful
Rhythm.
time. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, right here on Rhythm Flow Radio on Opinions, and we will be back here next Monday at 7 p.m. with some more of this topic. And we are talking about the structure of America's educational system. Okay, so join us right back here next Monday at 7 p.m. Uh, right here on YouTube and Twitter. And until then, we're going to
And next
say
we'll talk about our boys and our girls differently.
absolutely. So join us next week back here at
Good night.
7 p.m. And we're going to say good night and have a safe night. Good night, everybody. Now I hope it lets me out.
Get the lesson.
All right, girl. I tell you. Mm, mm, mm. There we go.